So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of negative fractional indices. So if we start off with something simple, such as x to the negative half. Okay, so we know from last week that if you got a negative, then you just move it to the other side. So this is the same as 1 over x to the half. So at the moment, x to the negative half is in the numerator. We move it downstairs, so it becomes x to the positive half. What if we've got this? Y to the negative 2/3. What does that become? 1 over y to the 2/3. What if we've got this? X to the negative half over y to the negative 1/3. Well, all we're going to do is we just swap them over. So we end up with y to the 1/3 over x to the half. Simple as that. It's absolutely simple as that. Now, what if we start getting things such as this? So what we're going to do is just take it a step further. What if we get something like this? 25 to the negative 1/2. Okay, so we know that that is the same as 1 over 25 to the half. Then we say, okay, all right, so we've got 25 to the half. What is 25 to the half? It's 5. So this is 1 over 5. Okay, let's just try another one. Let's just try this. And remember, if you're really struggling with this, what you can do is you just put that in your calculator. See what comes out. And let's have a go at another one. 125 to the negative 1/3. So now this becomes 1 over 125 to the positive 1/3. And this says, what is the cube root of 125? And I look back on my sheet and I think, what to the power 3 is 125? It's 5. Again, we end up with 1/5. We'll try another. 216 to the negative 2/3. Okay, 216 to the negative 2/3. Now, so we end up with 1 over 216 to the 2/3. So then I think, what is the cube root of 216? It's 6. And what's 6 squared? 36. So I end up with 1 over 36. Okay. Let's do another one. 4 to the power negative 3 over 2. So now we end up with 1 over 4 to the 3 over 2. So now we're asking, what is the square root of 4, which is 2, and then we cube it, which is 8. So we end up with 1 over 8. Remember, at no time have I started making my bases negative. Okay, we're only talking about the indices being negative. Okay, so let's just not get carried away with that. Now, if I just clean this a second. So, is that all we can do? No. Okay, so what we can start to do is things like this. 49 over 25 to the negative half. So now everything is to the negative half. So I've got 49 to the negative half over 25 to the negative half. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap them over and make them positive. So now I've got 25 to the half over 49 to the half. Okay, so what's my final answer going to be? That's square root of 25. 5 over 7. All right, you might want to think about that for a moment. Okay, and maybe I'll watch it again. Remember, this is advanced year 9 work. All right, let's have a go at another one. Let's do this. 343 over 27 to the negative 2/3. Okay, so now we remove the brackets, so everything is to the negative 2/3. So we've got 343 to the negative 2/3 over 27 to the negative 2/3. Now let's swap them around. So we've got positive indices. So we've got 27 to the 2/3 over 343 to the 2/3. So now we think, okay, so what is the cube root of 27? Cube root of 27 is 3, and then we square it and we get 9. What's the cube root of 343? 7, and then what's 7 squared? 49. Okay, are you starting to see these numbers starting to appear quite often? If you ever see me write 340, you know it's going to have to be 343, because I can't do anything with 342. Okay, right, so now let's just take it that tiny bit further. Okay, nearly done, nearly done. Okay, so what about if you've got something like this? 81a to the minus 40, b to the 12, all to the negative quarter. Now, it's really important that you're a really neat writer and you lay your work out really well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. So everything is to the power of negative quarter. So now we've got 81 to the negative quarter. Okay, now we've got what? Remember, raise a power to a power. We multiply these. Okay, and what's a quarter of 40? 10. And what's a negative times a negative? Positive. So we got a to the 10. Now we do b to the 12. So the negative quarter. What's a quarter of 12? 3. What's a positive times a negative? A negative. So we end up with, b to negative 3. So now we say, okay, what has to move? What can stay where it is? Well, the only thing that can stay where it is the a to the 10. Both of these are going to move down into the denominator. So we've now got a to the 10 over 81 to the quarter, b to the 3. And then finally we finish off by saying, okay, what is 81 to the quarter? What is the 4th root of 81? Just going to rub this out. 3. Okay, so please, I'm begging you, don't try to go from that to that. You will mess it up. You will. So we do it in stages, okay? And I actually did a little bit of cheating some here. Okay, one more. One more, and this is going to be the hard one. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, 125. A to the 9, b to the negative 30, over 27, all to the negative 2/3. Okay, so let's break this down, break it down. So we've got 125 to the negative 2/3, and then we say what's negative 2/3 of 9? So negative 2/3 of 9 is a to the negative 6. And what's negative 2/3 of negative 30? So that's going to be b to the 20. all over 27 to the negative 2/3. Okay, so now what we're going to do, well, we're going to use positive indices. So now we're going to swap these two over. So we've now got 27 to the 2/3. We've got b to the 20. All these are up in the numerator. You see that moved upstairs? And that stayed upstairs. Now, a to the minus 6 moves down. And 125 to the 2/3. Wonderful. Have we finished? Nearly. All we have to do is work out what is 27 to the 2/3. Cube root of 27 is 3. Square root is 9. So my final answer is going to be 9b to the 20 over 25a to the 6. All right. Okay. And that, now we are totally in the core of Year 10 math methods. Okay, you can't do this on your calculator. You can do this section on your calculator, but ultimately we need you to be able to just know this really off the top of your head. In fact, yeah, ideally we'd like you to be able to do it not on your calculator, but if you're still struggling with what these are, then you can enter them on your calculator. So you just have to press fraction button first, open brackets, fraction button, close brackets, and then power, and then enter that as a fraction. Okay. All right. Good luck this week.